Okay, what pens am I playing with now? These are pens that were on my desk. This is a Swan. Swan twist fill. There's a pretty rubbery nib, hard rubber pen that I think is kind of nice. Bought it at the Philadelphia Pen Show, and I didn't have one of these before. I think this is one that's made in England. Made in England, it says it right there. And it is a really nice rubbery nib, which I thought was fun. What's this? This is a Parker 51 Demi, which means it's thinner and shorter than the standard one, which they didn't make very long. It's relatively rare as pens go. Hello, Marilyn darling. You non-poster, you anti-poster, you an anti-vaxxer. Uh-oh, message retracted. Well, it's almost evening here. I'm doing okay. I'm just playing with pens as usual, and I am trying to clear my desk, but I'm not. Is that what you are? A gastro, whatever it is? For your 9 to 5. Lovely little pen. I need to figure out a way to make this. Oh, that's the guy whose pen group you invited me to join. Lisa, is that right? I'm trying to remember my 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, we'll see if I can join in. This is normally a much too modern pen for my taste, but it has such a fine nib. That I feel I need. Yeah, it's where's my camera? It's an inlay one. Come on, get in focus. There we go. Oh, you were in focus. Anyway, these pens generally are very much too modern for my taste. But when I find a pen that's really excruciatingly fine, I admire it. It flexes only to this point. So I'll show you here. Come on, where are you? I mean, it goes from, hello, Joshua. It goes from almost imperceptible to slightly visible, which is all it needs to do for a pen that's that fine. This is a music nib, which was given to me by a pen customer of mine who thought I would like it, and I took it gladly. It's an off-brand pen that maybe this was made for the trade, for music people. It's upside down. Duo Craft from New York. So I have a feeling this was made maybe in the 50s, probably for musicians themselves. Hello, Southern Hemisphere. What's this? This is a 51 of some sort. So, Dean from Adelaide, what pens do you collect or do you use? Should I sing, get my ukulele out and sing Waltzing Matilda? Once a jolly swagman camped by a blah, 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 doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. He sang as he watched and waited for him. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Okay, where's Waltzing Matilda? Got me started. Come on. Once a jolly swagman camped. Where's the A? Camped by. Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a columbine tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. You come on, waltzing Matilda with me. I think, did we lose him? There's a movie called On the Beach. Kenway Stewart, cool. Well, Eversharp. Well, very good. There's a movie called On the Beach, which I was watching the other day when COVID was happening, about the end of the world, and starring Ava Gardner, I think, and Gregory Peck, and Fred Astaire's in it. And it takes place in Australia, where the fallout cloud hasn't killed everyone from the nuclear war that happened. So it's a movie about people coming to terms with their death that's about to happen. And Waltzing Matilda is like the only song you hear over and over and over again. Boy, I've got a lot of nice nibs in these pens. So Dean, that's your real name? Where is Dean? Dean. Oh, there. I see the reverse here, so it takes me a while to figure this out. Real name is, in fact, Dean. Do-do-do-do. Dean. Oh, I suppose that's upside down. We'll go back to where it was. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. This is a pen that I gave my dad 30 years ago, and he died a year and a half ago, and we were going through his stuff, and I saw this, and I said, I'll take that back, Dad. You won't be needing it. And I remember that I had a nice nib in it, and it's nicer than I remembered it being. Where's the camera? What kind of nib is this? Can you read it? Can I even get it in the frame? Just covering myself with ink here. I think it's a warranted nib, warranted 14K. You're not disappointed? Well, I have to disappoint you then. I'm going to put this nib to the test. This is a one of these Waterman Taper-Rite pens, which was on my desk. I really like these lately because of their slight flexibility. This is one that has the end that decays. I'm too close. Well, sometimes it works if I am close. I mean, I can get really quite close if I need to. But I have to hold still, and it's hard to hold still with my well, I'll put it back where it was. It's just that when it is close, it just doesn't know what it's supposed to focus on. So consequently, it's just all over the map. Okay, what kind of nibs do you like, FX Ectol? What kind of nibs do you find great? I like almost any nib that you could describe with the word very in front of it. So it could be very fine or very flexible or very broad, very medium. I don't need those pens. Very smooth. I maybe don't need those. Here's a here's a Parker 51 drawing upside down. And I like when a Parker 51 has a big difference between the right side up and the upside down, because it's sort of like having two pens in one. Well, that's a switch. Hey, Kesh. Going from fine nails to broads seems like you're a split personality to suddenly go from one to the other. This one is nice. Let's do Kesh. Kesh of UV. I know it's upside down or sideways or whatever it is. Come on. Get in focus. There you are. Marilyn, I have to look at your how to clean yourself video, because I need to rinse all of this ink that's all over me out of my hair here. Ate it. I don't know what that means. Are you speaking in modern speak, modern hieroglyph speak? I like writing a page or two, switching things up, keeps it interesting. Okay. Oh, I see. Keeps it interesting. It does keep it interesting. I have 20 or so pens inked up on my various flat surfaces in my house, and also pens I'm trying to fix for people and pens I'm trying to sell to people. So there's way too many pens, and I can immediately get sidetracked and just go all over the map with what I use the pens for. And no, Gunter hasn't shown up. No, that's okay. You don't have to apologize. So when you say broad, do you mean stub nib or just a big blob? Do you want it to be sharp on the side strokes? Like this here, this is a stub, but it's fine on the side strokes. But you might want it to be fat in all directions. I don't remember. I don't know. There's so many people that I talk to online, and I know for darn sure that they're fake people because they don't have any sort of profile, and then they say how they're looking for a man that's honest because they were hurt in their life before, and blah blah blah. And I enjoy playing around with them, even though that I know that they're not who they pretend to be. And they usually eventually ask me for money so that they could buy a new phone so they can keep in contact with me, because they love me so much, you know. And I often will cause them to type a lot more than they ever thought they wanted to. There was one woman that she wanted me to buy her a gift card. And I said, well, you know, we have COVID now, so all of the stores are closed. Even the place where I buy my dildos isn't open. And she didn't read that properly. And she said, well, what do you do? And I say, I use cucumbers. And she said, oh, I like fruit. And I said, what do you use? What do you use? And she said, watermelon. And I said, watermelon? You can shove a watermelon up there? Anyway. This 51 is just great. There's nothing wrong with this pen. It's almost perfect. They're all almost perfect. Stop laughing. For someone else, for your grandkids. You can tell them the story, Kesh. Yeah, it took me a while to learn to like a 51 because they didn't do any sort of flexible line activity, and I hated them. I never ever used them. I didn't really like the way they looked. But all of my customers loved them, and I thought, well, they can't be all that bad then if so many people like them. And I kept hating them. And suddenly, in the middle of the night, I woke up in a cold sweat, and I realized how perfect a pen they are. If what you want a pen to do is to put down a line of ink, it's Euclideanly perfect. The little dot, the point of its nib is like the Euclidean point. The line it makes has length. It doesn't have any variety of thickness within its line it makes. And it's just really perfect in so many ways. It still doesn't do this. It will never do this, but it doesn't have to do that. You know, I don't need a Bugatti sports car to get milk from the grocery store. My station wagon probably would work better for that. So, oh wow, that's neat. My brother's kids, yeah, my brother's kids' kids. Well, they're not breeding yet, my niece and nephew, but yeah, 51s are great. I find the 51s that have a nib that isn't a point broad. I've got some broad nibs, stub nib 51s too, and they seem to be wrong. They seem sort of like an abomination. They just don't seem right. A 51 is supposed to have a dot as a nib, a point. Where's my piece of paper that doesn't have anything on it? A point. I do like the Aerometrics these days. The Vacuumatics are nice if you know that they're going to last for a long time, which they don't. you have to replace that rubber sack, and the Aerometrics, you don't have to worry about having to ever do that, really. Anyway, the 51, I probably have more, I do have more 51s than any other model of pen. I probably have, I think I have 51 double jewel 51s, plus I have probably another couple hundred of regular 51s that aren't double jeweled. So, and I keep adding to my collection of 51s. One of my pen collector friends recently died, and he bequeathed to me his pen collection, which was modest, but it had a couple of 51s. This might even be one of them. So Marilyn, darling, does this guy do the Zoom thing? Does he post it on his Facebook group page? Yeah, they are expensive. They, in a way, I find them too fancy, because the 51, to me, the perfect 51 is almost this one. Though I might say it would be the gray one with a luster alloy cap, because there's something about the machine-aged gray that makes sense for that pen. The luster alloy cap, gray, and that almost seems the 151, if they were going to have a museum of pens and that was going to be in the museum, that would be the one. So he posts that. Okay, good, because I have Zoom on my iPad, so I can click on that and I don't have to do complicated things. Now, do we, when we're on Zoom, do we aim down at the page or up at our face? Do we show our pie hole, or do we look at what we draw or write? Oh, well, I might prefer to, well, we'll see what I'll do. Well, I don't know who is in Australia. Are you the one in Australia? Who's in Australia? Dean's in Australia. Where are you, Afexekeknal? Ohio? Well, there has to be pen people in Ohio. They have the big Ohio, the Tri-State Pen Show and stuff like that. You should be able to find some people there. You know, wait till COVID is over to meet them. Fountain Pen Insanity, have I met you? I don't, see, this is what's so weird about all of this. I don't remember whose name is who. So Fountain Pen Insanity, you must have been to the Boston Pen Shows and at the pen meetings. Have you ever been to those? Might have known you're in Copenhagen. Oh, you have? Oh, good. So we have met then. Yeah, Wesky and I, we were planning on meeting in person this last summer, but COVID changed that plan. I hope to meet him this summer. He's he has yet to meet, I think, in person another pen person, Sarah. Well, if you were at any of the meetings at Brick Bottom, which is where I live, you probably did meet me here. I didn't go to all of the pen meetings. This is Lee Snyder. Why is this pen? Feels like it's sticky. Oh, okay. Well, I went to very few of those because I didn't have a car at the time. But at the pen shows, I was always there, usually in the center of the room, and I had my table was raised up. This is what I look like. I don't know if I had shaved or not, but so I may have seen you. Should I bring more pens out? Others? This is the one I fixed for Brussels. And then I realized that it doesn't actually have an airtight seal because I filed down the section because it was corroded. So I don't know whether Brussels wants this or not anymore. This ledger paper is from 1893. The next pen show would probably be in September, if all is going well. Yes, I collect. Anytime I would find old ledger books at a bookstore, especially those that were mostly empty, I would buy them. And my favorite ledger, I need to show this to you, except I have to make room. I bought this at the Boston Pen Show from one of my pen people, and I bring it to the Boston Pen Show to use almost as my table because it's so fucking big. Ouch. Here's the book. It's 2.5 feet by 2 feet. And it's the Registry of Voters for 10 years, female, volume 1, A through L, City of Gloucester. And it's completely empty. So evidently no one in Gloucester for the decade of the 20s to the 30s, God, I've got a hernia now, wanted to vote. or maybe that was a duplicate. And so I open that up on my table. Here's a map of my 6-foot table. Here I am, here you are, the customers are on this side. And I open up that book, and that book is this big. So I have my pen trays and ink over here, and they scribble over here, and I scribble over here, and they scribble over here. And we scribble, scribble, scribble. Then I turn the page. I have everyone move back so I can turn the page. Harvard Cooperative Society, Cambridge and Boston turned out to be a very good flex pen. Do you know anything about the brand? Well, the Harvard Co-op was a store. It still exists. It's owned by Harvard University, I presume. So the Coop, they call it the Coop, they probably bought pens from a Boston pen maker and had them made with that name on it. It probably has a nib that says warranted 14K. Does it? Unless if the nib says Harvard Cooperative Society, I've never seen one before, and I've seen tens of thousands of pens, and I've lived in Massachusetts for 30 years, so I would think that I would have seen that. But my guess would be that it was made by, could have been made by Carter, could have been, there were like 200 pen companies in the Boston area, Massachusetts, throughout the years, and some of them were fly-by-night things, and some of them were less fly-by-night. The Moore Pen Company, Carter Pen was in Boston, Waterman had an office here, Boston Safety Pen. There were a number of Bostonian companies, Chilton, Crocker, the Boston Pen Company. But that would be my guess, that it was made by one of them, or maybe it could have been another company that maybe was not in Massachusetts, could have been in Rhode Island or New York even, I suppose. But if you were to send me an email with a picture of the pen, I might be able to tell you more about it. Is it plastic or hard rubber? Waiting anxiously for the answer. Anyone else have a question? Those horrid age spots. Here's my magnifying glass. I have to have that. Go back to this one again, this inlaid nib. I'm doing an awful lot of holding my cap in my hand rather than posting it. It's probably because I'm switching pens so much. The easiest way to contact me is send me an email. Pierre Gustafson Studio @gmail.com. And go to pierregustafson.com. You'll see my calligraphy website, and there'll be a thing that says Contact Pierre, and you can find me. And eventually I'll get back to you. I'll probably send an email back immediately saying, thank you for your email. I think I have a pen like that. If you want to buy a pen, let me know what kind of nib you want and take a picture of your handwriting and show me how you hold the pen if you're a lefty, etc. It's really helpful for me. It was helpful for me in selecting pens for Maryland and for selecting pens for Canada and Brussels, also known as Florian or Jack, depending on what device you're looking at. And Bartholomew, I think, is Canada, but that's not his real name either. Sheaffer balances, okay. Well, I've got many. I have a lot of the standard sizes that are not, the big ones like this, but I have the standard sizes and the striped barrel ones and things like that. They're still balances. They still have that classic shape. Most of the pens I have that I'm selling are not the senior size. I just find them, there's more dollars that I have to spend, more dollars that I have to charge. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather sell pens for less money than sell some for more. So, I'm sorry, Marilyn, darling, is it 7 o'clock Eastern time when this jamboree happens with the Zoom thing? No, they're not really, I don't think oversizes, I'd rather have 3 medium or smaller sized pens than 1 senior sized Sheaffer, just because I have 3 different nibs then. 45 minutes. Dropper type, okay. Well, that's interesting. It might have been a Boston safety pen.
That's really nice. Thanks.
Alexa, was I talking to you?
I'm not sure.
I wasn't.
By the way, you can now ask another question without having to first say Alexa. Enable this feature by saying, turn on follow-up mode.
Alexa, go to bed. Evidently, Alexa answers my questions without me asking her to do that. Oh God, I'm sorry. They are funny, those devices of ours. I should get Siri and Alexa to have a conversation and see how far it gets before I chuck them both out the window. Alexa, recite pi to the 1,000th number.
The approximate value of pi is 3.14159265359.
I want the exact, Alexa, what is the exact value of pi?
The approximate value of pi is 3.14159265358979323384626. Achoo! Apparently, I'm allergic to numbers this large.
That's not a large number, dear. It's between 3 and 4. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what am I supposed to do? The number is not large, Alexa. Achoo, I'm allergic to large numbers. Bite me. God. Ask another question of me. Don't ask that bitch. Ask me. Ask me a question. So Copenhagen, aren't you supposed to be in bed by now? Isn't it late? 12 o'clock or midnight or something? Have I figured out a nib for your pen? I'm down to the 2 that you wanted, and I just have to try them out again and just come up with a price for them for you, Marilyn. Oh, you sent that you're sending me the pen? I do know how much it thrills you. No, don't. When you say it's on its way, I didn't want you to. I didn't think you sent me the pen, but when you said it's on its way, it made me think you did. So I have the pens right here somewhere. So I will put them up here where I can see them. And you wanted, I think you said 4 and 6 or 3 and 6. You'll tell me, you'll remind me. 3 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I've got them put aside. These 4 I will put back. So these are the 2. These are the nibs that Marilyn Darling is interested in. So let's just show people what these are. I think these are the nibs. Yes. Come on, get in focus. And then the Boinga Boinga one is here. And I'll send you a couple of number 2 feeds because you'll probably need to do a lot of sort of switching and playing around. Boinga, 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 boinga. This is the Boinga Boinga one and the tight one. So 3 and 6. So I'll tell you what the price will be. Do you listen to YouTube all day? I sometimes turn on movies and other people and I listen to it when I'm working on pens or working on art that I do. I don't do it all day. You know, when I talk to people, I turn it off. The Boinga Boinga, yeah. Um, when I was playing earlier today with the Swan pens, I realized I do have quite a lot of boingy boingy ones there too. Well, Wasky, is different than me because Wasky generally does it once or twice a week, and it's always on a certain day, or he tries to do it all on a certain day. And he sticks to the script for most of it. I have so many different YouTube topics, whether it be art or playing the ukulele or drawing my cat or showing people how I use an iPad, that things are all over the place. Well, Boinga Boinga is not hard to do. It's turning Boinga Boinga into actual functional words. That's sometimes the hard thing. Making that a letter is, doing this is easier, but making it into a B and then spelling Boinga, Boinga, hate when I do that. And I have a letter all by itself at the end. Boinga. Boinga Boinga. I don't fix those. No, I'm sorry. I think I might have fixed one in my life 30 years ago, and I thought I don't need to do that anymore. And I sold all of the parts I had to a couple of people over the years, so I don't really have. I have many in my collection, or some, couple dozen in my collection, but I don't fix them and I don't use them. This might be the nib for Russell's. Russell's is buying a Lady Patricia in that sort of Persian color from me, and it needed a nib, and maybe this is the nib that I'll put in it. He wanted kind of a Boinga Boinga nib. But I don't know, I might have to try something else. They can be not difficult if the part that you have to, the sack you can buy, you can replace the sack. It's just getting the old sack. The sack has a little ball that fits in a little plastic cup. And taking out the old sack is easy, but this little ball is in there. And sometimes when you're trying to get this out, this thing cracks. So if you can get it out without cracking it, it's not a difficult repair. The lockdown filling systems are like hell on earth to try to fix. Though. What you do need is you need to take out the filling system, and I have a tool, vacuumatic pliers or wrench, I guess they call it, that does that, and it's a cylindrical thing that goes over the threaded end, and you clamp down on it, and it grips onto the threads, and then you unscrew it. Did I loan those to? I wonder if I loaned those, because I've been trying to find it. I mean, did I loan them to Nicola Pang? Could I have done that? I'm going to say goodbye now because I hear my 3/4 roommate making dinner, and I probably should get myself ink removed from my tidy hands so that I can look pretty for this Zoom thing. So we'll catch you later. See you later. Boinga boinga. Bye-bye.